I'm pleased to say I'm joined by one of the newest winners on the Challenge Tour, David Pallett. Thanks for the time, David. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Yeah, full of confidence at the minute. Everything seems to be going well. So yeah, happy boy at the minute.
Well, it's been a little over a week now since you won your first PDC title over in Germany on the Challenge Tour. Has the excitement worn off yet, or are you still on a high from winning that title?
Yeah, definitely still on the high. I think, a bit shattered after coming back from Germany, and then had a few days off, and then back down to Southampton now. So yeah, I haven't had much time to let it sink in, but no, happy to have won, and yeah, back down to earth on performance yesterday. But yeah, today's been a bit better, so yeah, can't complain too much.
Well, we'll come back to that title later, but let's rewind back to the start for you in darts. I was reading up, you started playing darts when you were 8 years old. How did you get introduced to the game?
So my dad looked after a pub. He ran a pub for a little while in Cheswood Island in Shropshire, and obviously I was going to school and coming back and just chucking a few darts with him, and that's how I sort of got into it really. And then from there started playing the odd league game, and I'd get a game in the doubles and things like that, and then that obviously once I started making a bit of a contribution in doubles, got playing in singles, and then started playing Super League, and I remember men's county debut when I was 13. So yeah, it sort of snowballed from that really. Yeah,
I mean, at 8 years old, interests, they can come and go quickly, but as you say, just 5 years later at 13, you are representing Shropshire in county in the men's side of things. What was that like, getting that experience at such a young age?
Yeah, it was brilliant, I never really felt nerves or anything before that. I just sort of went up there, played my darts, enjoyed it, and just got on with it. But yeah, it's the first time I felt a bit of pressure and nerves and everything like that. And I just remember sort of gut feeling of like sickness before I got called on, or as I was getting called on, I thought I was gonna throw up sort of thing. But now I got through it, and lost my first game. But yeah, went on to win my next game after that, and never looked right back really.
As a youngster, you also got to put on the England shirt representing your country in, I think, 2 WDF Europe Youth Cups, one in Germany and one here in England. What were those experiences like?
Yeah, fantastic, So I met Ricky Evans, who was my doubles partner in the first Europe Cup about 3 or 4 months before. We played for the North of England together in Scotland, and we met each other then. We clicked, gelled straight away, and he's been one of my best mates in darts ever since, really, since I was about 16. So yeah, that was a really good thing for me, meeting Ricky and being good mates with him. And obviously that Europe Cup team at the time was probably one of the best that's ever been, really. I mean, there was myself, Ricky Evans, Ross Smith, who's obviously smashing it at the minute as well, and Richie George, who obviously people don't need to know too much about because he's absolutely fantastic as well.
And from England youth to England seniors, that senior call-up comes a few years later as well. What was that moment like, finding out that you'd made the squad for the England men's team?
Yeah, it was fantastic, really. The youth one was more of a surprise because I didn't really know I'd been put forward for it, and I got a phone call when I was just at a Friday night sort of individuals league, and my county chairman at the time sort of said, "Oh, David, you've got to call in," and let me know. And I told my dad, and obviously he knew he'd put me forward for it and everything, so that was a big surprise. But with the men's one, I'd been chasing that for like a year. I was playing for Shropshire at the time. We were in Division 4, and it's a bit harder to get picked while you're in Division 4 of the counties to get picked for, obviously, England. So I moved to Cheshire with Pauline Stafford, and obviously the Cheshire side at the time was unbelievable. I was playing with the likes of Bobby Green, Tony O'Shea, Darryl Fitton, Stuart Kellett, Alf Steele, Pete Bowie, Ian White, Gary Robson, Stephen Bunting. It was, a star-studded lineup, and I made my way into the A team after 2 games, and pushed from England's spot and managed to get my call up into the home nations at Merthyr. So yeah, that was brilliant. I was buzzing for that one.
Yeah, it's definitely a great team, and the England men's team as well for that British Internationals in 2012. Looking at the list of names that you played alongside, you had Scott Mitchell, Martin Adams, Scott Waits, Glenn Durrant, to name a few. How special was that weekend, winning the title as well?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I wasn't sure whether I was going to get into the team straight away, but yeah, I got picked for the first game, and I think I only played off 2 games that weekend, sort of is on the home internationals against Scotland and Wales, and I won both my games. But yeah, to be in a room and be on the practice board with the likes of them players, it was fantastic. I think playing for Cheshire in amongst some of the players that I mentioned previously really set me in good stead to not be too overwhelmed with the players that I was then practicing with. But yeah, that England side was fantastic. It's probably one of the greatest England sides that that have been in recent years, sort of thing. Obviously, a lot of players have moved on and done their own thing and moved to PDC and everything these days. But yeah, that England side at the time was fantastic. It was a pleasure to be a part of that.
Well, switching over from the BDO side of things to the PDC, and your first PDC major at the UK Open, I think 2012 in Bolton back then, and you were one of the speedy qualifiers. Now we've just got the Riley's qualifiers, but I was reading up, doesn't sound believable. At each event, the qualifier, 2 parts. First, you'll throw 15 darts, and then the 8 players with the highest score will play in 4 knockout games to determine who qualifies. Is that actually what happened?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a bit surreal sort of thing. So me and my dad just travelled to Stoke, and you threw your 15 darts each, and the person who had the highest score played the person with the least score, and I think it was the top 8 had qualified, so it was 1 versus 8 and 2 versus 7. I think I was second, and I ended up playing a lad called Daz Twist, who's quite well known around the Manchester area. And I think it was 1 leg of 701 or something. So I managed to beat him and qualified for the my first UK Open. It was in Bolton, which was nice because obviously it moved away from there a few years later, and it was just nice to say that I'd played there in that UK Open as well.
And that year you also got in on the TV cameras as well for the World Masters, making the last 32. But at the start of 2013, we see you make that trip to Q School. So I'm guessing all those experiences you'd had in that last year, that gave you the belief to go to Q School and try and get that tour card.
Yeah, I think the UK Open was obviously in the March sort of thing, and I had about 6 months off that year because I wasn't playing too well. But then I realised I qualified for the Women World Masters because I had my England call up the year before, and I've sort of picked them up a couple of weeks before and had a bit of practice, and managed to qualify for the last 32 there, and got drawn against my stablemate from Cheshire, Tony O'Shea, and he got the better of me unfortunately on that time. But I think it was on ESPN or Eurosport or something like that. But it was a great first little TV appearance for myself, and I really enjoyed it. Got my love back for the game, and sort of moved on from that really.
Yeah, he definitely did. And looking at that Q School, the second day you made it to the final round, lost out 6-5 in a decider. How tough was that defeat to take at the time? Still 2 more days to play, but coming so close to that tour card on that day. Yeah,
I remember being disappointed, but not overly, because I know I was up there on the overall points merit sort of thing. So my mate, obviously Ricky Evans, he got through on the first day that year. I knew after the second day that I was going to have a good chance. I got a few more wins each day that I was going to be up there, and I was really pleased with the way I was playing. It wasn't to be that day, but I had 2 more steady days, and I think I lost in the final on the last day as well or something like that. So I was really happy with the performance overall. And, just looking forward to getting the year started on the Pro Tour then.
Yeah, comfortably finishing second on that order of merit to get that tour card. What was that moment like when you found out that you had done enough and you would be on the PDC circuit with your good friend as well, Ricky Evans?
Yeah, it was very surreal. I wasn't sure really what to expect. I hadn't really paid much attention to obviously the PDC or the Q School or anything before that really. Once I found out I got it, I was buzzing to start, and the first couple of months it was. It wasn't easy by any stretch, but I think I was just enjoying being there more than anything. I was more surprised that I wasn't getting battered every week. I was putting up some good performances. I think one of my first big wins was against Van der Voort. That sort of gave me the confidence to know I could mix it with some of the best then.
Yeah, that year we saw you a few times on the Euro Tour, but I've got to mention one win in particular, and that is beating Phil Taylor on the floor that year. How much did a win like that mean to you, beating a player who many regard as the best ever?
Yeah, in my eyes, he is the best ever and always will be the best ever. Taylor's obviously a lot of the reason why so many people are playing darts these days, and he's the reason that players get paid so much more money these days compared to what they were when obviously the likes of Taylor and Bristow and everyone else started out. He's done so much for the sport, but to beat him that weekend was fantastic. I remember I was sitting on a table with Gooster, Stuart Kellett, and a couple of others, and I said to him, I think they asked me how I was fine, and I said, I'm happy I haven't been battered or beaten up too badly in the early rounds. I'm picking up a few wins out and the draw come out and I got Taylor, and I was like, I've definitely spoken too soon there. So I played Taylor first round, and I think I went 2-0 down, and I thought, here we go, here comes your first drumming sort of thing. But no, I just sort of relaxed and got into it, and managed to beat Phil. And then it obviously come out, I think it was like the day after that's Phil's only ever lost in the first round of a Players' Championship. That's the only time he's never had to pick up any money sort of thing. So that's something to take out of it,
Definitely is. Well, the progress continues. The end of 2014, you're making your debut in the PDC World Championship at Ali Pali against another multiple-time world champion, Adrian Lewis. What memories do you have of that day playing in the biggest tournament in darts for the first time?
Yeah, I think I was just buzzing to get there, really. Looking forward to it. And yeah, I think the occasion got to me in the end, sort of thing. And yeah, a bit too excited. But no, I loved every second of it. I wouldn't change it. But yeah, it was just really surreal. I remember coming off after the first two sets. I said to Adrian Lewis, I said, I think you're averaging about 120 for the first two sets or something like that. And he turned to me and goes, welcome to the big league, kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm in for a bit of trouble here. But no, it was fantastic. And, even Lewis gave me some great words of encouragement and said, you played a good game. And I knew it wasn't my best game sort of thing, but he said, it's the first time up there. I loved it. I just couldn't wait to get back there again.
And you got back there the next year, second trip to Ali Pali, and you had that semi-final on the Euro Tour that year as well. But the win against Kim Huybrechts, a last set decider. What did it feel like to walk off the stage having won a game on that big stage?
Yeah, well, so the run to the Euro semi-final, I actually beat Kim on the route to that, and then obviously the draw come out, and I was like, well, that's a good one for me. I've just played him in one of the latest Euro tours. It's still going to be fresh in his mind. It's still fresh in my mind. He knows I can beat him. I know I can beat him. So yeah, it was a good draw for me, really. But I think Kim was world number 7 or something at the time, so I still knew it was going to be a really, really tough game. I got out of the blocks quite quickly. Went down 2-1 in sets, missed a few doubles. But then, yeah, I think I was about due to lose 3-1. I think at 180 to leave 42. I think he missed a shot at 95. I took out the 42, and yeah, I think I won 6 legs on the trot in the end. Won 3-1 that set to make it 2-2, and won the last set 3-0. And yeah, I was buzzing. I had a load of mates in the crowd, and all my family and everyone were there as well. So yeah, it was really nice and just magical feeling. I've never experienced something like it, really.
Good times. And the next round against Mensah Suljovic, probably most remembered for both of you having a shot at the double for that 9-dart. Mensah edging it 4-3 in the end. How did you reflect though on that campaign at Ali Pali?
Yeah, no, I was happy with it, to be fair. I used to practice with Mark Webster quite a bit. Obviously, he was in Denver and I was in Shropshire, so we used to meet up in Chester sort of thing, and on a bit of a chuck. We met up in between the two games. Obviously, he was still in the Worlds as well. And I remember saying to him, I'm just not looking forward to this game. I was quite a speedy player back at the time, and Mensah was slow pass. I just got a bad feeling I'm going to get absolutely beaten for 6 sort of thing. He's going to beat me 4. I think that's my worst fear, getting beat 4-0 sort of thing. So, but I got up there, I played my game, played really well. I was really happy with the way I played. Just missed a few too many chances at doubles and things like that, and then took them out. And he had a crucial 102 finish at one point that knocked me for 6, and he went on to win it. But yeah, both, like you said, memorised for the 2 9-darter attempts. I think mine was by far the worst ever attempt at a 9-darter on the Ali Pali stage. I think I was about 4.2 metres away. But but no, to have a shot at that with the crowd behind you going, yes, every treble that went in sort of thing, it was something that loved me forever.
Definitely. Well, fast forward to the end of 2017, you finished the season outside the top 64. What was it like for you then having to go back to Q School to try and get that tour card? Was it difficult to regroup after a tough run of form?
Yeah, definitely. It's a hard place to be. If you're in that pro tour room and you're not winning and you go in there 3-4 days a week and you get beat first game, it's a tough place to keep walking back into. It can be very lonely. Sitting on a table for the class players and they're coming back winning. And you're coming back lost. You pick up your bag and go back to the hotel, and it can be a very lonely place. So yeah, it's a tough few years. But it's the same in any sport. You got to regroup and get your head together and sort of try and build back up, really. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, basically. Form's just starting to get back to slightly what it was. But yeah, it's taken a good old while.
Well, despite not having that tour card early on in 2018, you make your mark, you get to a semi-final in the UK Open qualifiers. That gets you to Minehead for the UK Open as the 19th seed. It meant you had a bye to the Friday evening as well, and by this time we all know the event was going to be behind closed doors due to the weather. What was the build-up like for you playing in the event?
Well, the build-up was a bit surreal, really. We were on the way to the venue. There was me and Ricky Evans on the way to the venue, and we were obviously keeping an eye on Twitter to see what was going on, and we weren't 100% sure that the actual event was still going ahead or what was going on, because I think Minehead themselves tweeted that the event had been cancelled, and the PDC tweeted that the event was still going on but behind closed doors. So we sort of rocked up. I wasn't playing in the morning, but Ricky was, and we sort of rocked up thinking, what the hell's going on here? But yeah, it was obviously clear to us once we got there that it had been played behind closed doors. So yeah, it wasn't much of a build-up really. We were sort of thrown into it that weekend, but yeah, no, it's maybe a good thing sometimes that you don't have to worry yourself about anything or prepare too much. It was just sort of get on with it. But yeah, it was a great weekend for me. Yeah, I played some really good stuff. Yeah, I think that was the most frustrating bit really, because obviously I've been playing some really good stuff. Went to Q school, played horrendously, and then yeah, a few weeks later comes to the UK Open and I'm qualifiers and I'm playing some really good stuff. Reached a couple of semi-finals and everything. But yeah, it's obviously too late then. You've lost your tour card and you've got to try and fight for it back through the year. But yeah, that UK Open weekend was fantastic for me. Obviously my first major semi-final, a lot of TV coverage. But yeah, it's just a shame the crowd wasn't there.
Yeah, a great run nonetheless. And 2019, you do get your tour card back at Q School after a year without one. We saw you make some deep runs on that Challenge Tour as well, 2018. So how are you feeling about your game heading into that new season with your tour card back?
Yeah, I think it was still a difficult one. I still think I was still playing that great. I think I scraped my tour card back. I think I was one of the last couple of positions. Whereas obviously the first time I did it, I was like number 2 in the rankings in the order of merit of the Q School stuff. So yeah, I don't think I was that full of confidence. And if you're not full of confidence when you're going into a pro tour weekend or whatever, you're going to get punished all the time. But I think that 2 years really took it out of me. Then it was a tough 2 years. I don't think I come close to qualifying for many things at all, really. But yeah, this last couple of years has just obviously been a bit of a confidence rebuild and everything like that, really.
Well, before we get on to this year, we've got to mention the famous 170 attempt on the Euro Tour when you hit the 2 treble 20s, gestured to the crowd to make some noise, then you set up instead with the single 18. Had you ever done something like that before, or did it just come to you to have a bit of fun with the crowd?
Yeah, it would just sort of come to me then. I knew myself that I wasn't playing well, and I was lucky to beat Mike Decker in the first round. My mate Pete Merrick was with me at the time, and I said, it just doesn't feel comfortable with darts or anything like that, and he just said, get up there and have a bit of fun. And I think I was 3-1 down or 4-1 down to Gurney at the time, and yeah, I left myself 170 the first 2 trebles and gave it the big into the crowd, knowing full well that I was never going to go for the ball, because I think Gurney was on 161, which obviously he's capable of doing, but the chances of him doing that every time are pretty slim sort of thing. So yeah, gave it the big into the crowd and went for the big 18. Nearly snatched it, but yeah, I got away with the big 18. But yeah, and then made myself a fucking idiot by missing the double 16s.
Yeah, we weren't going to mention that. Well, the next few years, obviously, they were affected by the pandemic. End of 2020, you finish outside the top 64, and we think back to that time during the lockdowns, players suddenly not earning any money, they're not playing. So what was the situation like for you? Were you still working at the time, or did you have to go back to work?
No, not really. My dad sort of moved in with us because he wasn't too well at the time. So yeah, I was looking after him, which was quite good, really. So I had a bit of time off darts and like that, which was nice, and got me away from like hating the game as well. Because once you're in that room and you lose all the time, you do something to the game. Always puts you in a bad mood. But yeah, lockdown I think was quite good for me. I had a bit of a break and spent time with the missus, dad and the dogs, and just chilled out for a good 6, 7, 8 months, and yeah, sort of started picking them back up again from that then, really.
Well, let's get on to these last few weeks, because you've ticked off a fair few milestones, starting off in the WDF, winning the England Open, your first ranking title in that system, and back in the early days of your career you played some of those large open events. So have you got your eye on a possible World Championship that side? You've definitely qualified for the World Masters. Will we see you back in that?
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. That's the plan. I think this year I was just going to plan on doing as many competitions as I can, really, keep myself busy, try and build the confidence back up, and see bits of Europe and do a few competitions with the missus around Europe, and do some sightseeing while we're at it as well. I picked up a few points earlier on in the year, and then obviously the England Open went quite well for me, and I won one of the silver events there. So yeah, fingers crossed. If I keep playing the way I am and keep picking up points and tournament wins like I have been, hopefully I'll have a trip to Lakesides at the start of next year as well. So yeah, that's the aim at the minute. Yeah.
Well, the following weekend after that, winning the WDF, is back to the Challenge Tour, and after losing 5-4 in a final on the Friday, you go one step better on the Sunday to win your first PDC title. What were the emotions like when that winning double goes in? You've got that first PDC title. Yeah,
I was really happy, to be fair. I say when I first went on the Challenge Tour, was basically after the weekend that I had in Mine had when I got to the semi-final for the UK Open, so I thought, I'm in great form, trying to carry this on now, and it just didn't happen. I completely lost everything, and then that sort of spiralled for the next year then of playing absolutely horrendously. So it's taken me a good while to get used to the Challenge Tour, the setup, the 2 tournaments in one day, and I really did despise it when I first went on the Challenge Tour. You think to yourself, you're competing against the best of the world, and now you're on the second tour sort of thing. You're just trying to get your head around it to start with. That's the most difficult part. But yeah, no, when the winning double went in, I think it was just more relief than anything else. The Friday where I lost in the final, I felt lucky to be there. I hadn't played well all day. I think I averaged about 90 for the day, which, sounds good, don't get me wrong. But when you're in a field of the players that are there, it's, if you're going to average 90, you're usually going to get pipped one game or another before you get to the final sort of thing. And GM played really well in the final, deserved to win. Yeah, I was lucky to win the semi-final anyway, and GM deserved to beat me. But yeah, the Sunday, I picked them up Sunday out of practice, and they just seemed to be coming out my hand really well. And I averaged 96 for the day, and I just felt like no one was going to beat me. So it was really good. It was a big confidence boost for me, sort of thing.
And that title, that's put you right in the mix on that Challenge Tour Order of Merit as well. Now up to 4th, still 2 more weekends to come. So are you potentially looking at maybe getting that top 2 finish, get your tour card and Ali Pali, or are you still managing your expectations with that one?
Yeah, I mean, if I could continue to play the way I did on that Sunday there, happy days. I didn't play too well yesterday at Memphis, but today was a bit better. But yeah, if I continue to play on that Sunday, I think there's only myself stopping me getting one of them top 2 spots recently. Obviously, there's some cracking players there who can average up to 110, 112, 115 sort of thing. So, if you do fall unlucky and drop on one of them players that are going to have a worldie against you, there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, as long as I can keep my consistency going and keep averaging the high 90s, I'm more than confident getting into that top 2 spot. But yeah, just how it goes on the day. Unfortunately, it's not something you can predict or say what's going to happen. It's just one of them things, isn't it?
Definitely not. Well, lastly, before we let you go, you mentioned you've been playing in the online league this week as well, and recently we saw you take out that 110 treble 20 ball with 2 darts. I better plug my finish from the weekend. I had 80 left, treble 10 through the second one in the tyre, then hit the ball to win. So what's the most outrageous finish that you've pulled out in a game?
I think one of my favourite finishes, I think I was playing Adrian Lewis on the Pro Tour. I think I had 107 left, went bull 7 bull. That was a bit of a cheeky one. And then I think Gary Anderson, I think I had 114 left. That was at the UK Open. I think it was the last 32. He was battering me at the time. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't even close to him. Obviously, there's a bit of a crowd because obviously it's Gary Anderson, one of the world's greatest. And 114 left. I went 54, 10. And then went bull as well. So, that was a nice one as well. But yeah, I only sort of do the stupid finishes if I'm getting battered or, losing the game quite heavily sort of thing, just to try and give myself a bit of a boost or just try and enjoy the game and put a bit of fun back into it, and at least you can take something out of it then.
Well, David, it's a pleasure to chat to you. We appreciate your time. Congratulations on the titles on the last couple of weekends, and wish you all the best for what else is to come in 2022.
Fantastic. Cheers for the call, mate. Thank you very much.